Hey friends, today I have one for you. I have an episode for you, and I love talking about this one because I go through this with clients a lot, and I think that a lot of people kind of struggle with this. I know even myself, and I'm going to give an example of like one of the things that I was doing that was keeping me safe and that I was holding myself back on, and we all do this. But it's these very things that we're worried about doing, or we're scared of doing, or we're making up stories around that are keeping us from actually reaching the next like level of success or full potential or just what we really, really want. And we can do this in both business and in life. Like it happens in both. And we literally make up these scenarios and stories around what we think might happen. And so then we don't take action on the very things that we need to, that are going to make the difference in getting and achieving like the goals that we want or getting to whatever, success looks like for you. And it almost looks like catastrophizing in your mind, this like big scenario of, oh my God, like it's going to be so awful. How am I going to handle this? And it just like, you go into these like worst case scenarios of things because your mind likes to play tricks on you like that. But you do this without even knowing what's actually going to happen. Like we make up these stories without having any clue what is actually going to happen. And it sucks doing this because we avoid these things, and the reality of what can happen could be vastly different. And it's these things that you're holding yourself back on that are the very things that you need to do in order to move forward. So I'm going to give you a few examples of these. One that I've done myself. So I do free calls all the time. I do 30-minute free strategy calls, and I absolutely love doing them. They are like one of my favorite things to do. And I wasn't following up personally after them. So when I would have these calls, we would get on the call, and it is not like I don't pitch on the call at all. It's literally to talk to you about your business, to go through something that you're stuck on. If you need to ask questions about like systems, automation, strategy, whatever it is, and really for me to help you and get you moving forward just in that 30-minute call. Like it's truly for me to help you. And many times we will talk about, like, someone will ask me, how do I work with you? Like, what options do you have? And then I would just leave it. I wouldn't, I'd be like, well, they'll follow up if they really want to, because I would be nervous to send the goddamn email after the call, which is, it's avoiding the thing that would have booked me way more clients. And I mean, a lot of these calls do convert really well. And most of the time, people follow up and they're like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, let's work together, whatever. But the ones that don't, that was like huge potential just lost because I wasn't following up with someone. And like I follow up in the DMs with people, no problem. Why I wasn't doing this, why I was telling myself, no, like they might not answer. They might say no, blah, 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 whatever story, I was telling myself that day, instead of knowing that we had talked about this on the call. And like I wouldn't just go and like randomly send this to someone and just be like, oh, hey, we should work together, blah, 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 unless it was actually felt like a good fit and we had talked about this. But if we had, presenting the options again easily by following up and emailing them is like no brainer, exactly what needed to happen. And I was avoiding this because I didn't want to, you know, feel the rejection of someone saying no or someone not responding and catastrophizing essentially that situation over what potentially could happen, and that being them saying yes. So these are the things, and this is exactly like sometimes you have to get uncomfortable with these things because you run a business. And I give this example because I have started sending the emails. So now I do follow up and I do send them. And it's something it's not an automated email. It's very personal and I like personalize it and all of the things and just see what they say. And I don't make it a thing. And you know what's happened? I've been fine. It's been just fine. And I've booked more clients. So it's, these things that you're avoiding that truly are going to get you the results that you are looking for. Another really good example of this, and this is one that I see all the time. So you really want to say something in your content, but you know that when you do, it's going to push some people away. And these are like the opinionated, spicy takes, or hot takes, whatever, that kind of goes against the norm. Like, that this is going to divide people. So you hold back because like, once it's out there, it's kind of out there, like, there's no taking it back. But also, you have to know it's going to bring the people that so hard agree with you. It's going to bring them so much closer to you. I share these all the time. And my thoughts on it are it is going to it's going to filter out the people that don't want to work with me, and it's going to bring in the people that do and that share these same opinions and that need to hear these things, because that's one of the most important things. Is a lot of the time these like opinionated spicy takes are things that people need to hear and they're waiting for someone to say it. And that's like that's one of the best things and the best parts of it, is that you can be the one that does that. And it is hard. It is hard the first few times that you do it. It's like ripping a band-aid off, but once you do it, it does get easier. And it's another way that you're keeping yourself safe from sharing what you want to share, saying what you want to say, because there is the potential consequence of people leaving, followers going away, people unsubscribing. And I will tell you right now, like, I have people that I have a couple, like, not a lot, it'll be like one or two every week that unsubscribe from my email list. I have people that unfollow me all the time. I don't really look at my unfollows. My follows are definitely, I get more follows than I do unfollows, so I don't really notice. Um, my subscribers, that kind of goes up and down, but I still add generally more than unsubscribe. And it it's also this like not making it mean anything, because there are so many people that are going to be in your corner that are like, hell yeah, I need to hear that. And I like am so fully behind that. I'm so glad that you said it. because those are the types of posts when I do them and the emails that I write. I'll get unsubscribes, but I'll also get people that will reach out to me and be like, fuck yeah, I needed to hear that. That was so good. And they're just, you can't hold yourself back from doing this, but it's another way of keeping yourself safe because there are the potential like consequences of it. Another example is, sharing an offer. And this can go either way. This can be sharing an offer. This can be when you have a master class. And what if no one signs up? This is a huge one. What if no one signs up? So then you don't even want to talk about it. Well, first off, if you don't talk about it, no one's going to sign up. That just like that confirms that right there. You have just you've just made that possible for yourself because if you don't let anyone know it exists, they can't sign up. So that's number one. But the other thing is if you don't talk about it, you'll never know. And I've also heard the other side, like what if too many people sign up and you can't hold the capacity and then it's this like buildup in your head of, oh my God, what if I can't do this and it's going to be too much and I don't have the time and on and on and on. And then you don't want to share it again. But these are things. What is your goal at the end of the day? If your goal is to have more clients, grow your business, expand your business, increase your income, do all of these things, you're going to have to share your offers. You're going to have to do these things in order to get the results that you are wanting. And so, something that I do with clients, because I find this really helpful with them and actually helpful with myself. Sometimes I'll even do this with my kids with different things, but we look at, okay, what would be the worst case scenario here? If we are going to avoid this, let's get right down to it. Let's dig right in and let's see why we are avoiding it and let's go right into the worst case scenario. And I want you to think of what you're avoiding right now and do this. What is the worst case scenario that could possibly happen in terms of the thing that you are avoiding? And let yourself fully go there, like fully go there and challenge that and like envision it. Really think about it because so many times I will go there and I'll go back to these examples. So let's say the one where I didn't want to email people. My worst case scenario was that people would respond and be like, why are you emailing me? Or would like be mad that I emailed them or think that it was like somehow rude. I make up these weird things in my head. We all do this, right? That was my worst case scenario. Now, is that actually how realistic is that? Like, it's not. And this is why we need to go to these worst case scenarios and really, really think through this because is that actually going to happen? And if it did on their end, like, is what I'm doing actually inappropriate? No, because I'm following up with someone. I run a business. We had a call, and I'm just being like, hey, I just wanted to see if you were still interested in this. Like, that's very normal, right? So when we truly go through this and talk about it, it brings, it kind of brings you down and brings you back to, okay, that's not actually like this, it's not actually as bad as what I think it is with the content. So if you share something that's, really edgy and really spicy and you're putting it out there, and like there is a lot of things that I've shared that I share my opinion quite frequently. And I've been told that and I don't care, I will say this. My dad has actually told me that I will lose I better watch out because I will lose clients. Um, and the thing is, for some of the things that I'm sharing, I don't, if for some of the things, I wouldn't want to work with someone if they don't hold the same values as me, because that is how strongly I believe in that. And so you really have to think about, okay, so what is the worst case scenario? Are you going to lose clients? Are you going to lose followers? Are you going to lose subscribers? And so like what truly is going to, like, is that really going to happen? And if it is something, if you're sharing something that is true to what you believe in, true to your values, is that necessarily the worst case scenario? I don't think that it is. Personally, I don't. So it's kind of like working through these things. Even with sharing your offer, if we go through and we're like, okay, so you share it, no one signs up. This is one that I do a lot. We go through this one a lot. No one signs up. I've had this happen. I have launched like many things that no one has signed up for. Doesn't mean that I stop. And the other thing is it's still not, it doesn't mean that you have failed either. You have to really look at this and think about, okay, so what does this actually mean? You can still learn from that. Yes, it means that you didn't get clients from that offer, but it's like trying to separate out, and this is hard, but it's separating out your emotions from that and looking at, okay, so what can we learn from this to go forward with for the next time? Because the reality is, you do run a business, and if you want to achieve the results that you want, you do need to look at those things, because then the next time that you go to promote something, you need to know what is going to work. And so it's looking at, okay, what do I need to look at for data? What do I need to do market research? Do I need to, see if maybe I just didn't promote this enough? I've seen this happen where people like, they will launch, I'm doing, quotations, launch something for like 5 days and they'll be like, well, no one signed up. No shit. I'm sorry, but like, especially now that it's just not going to be a thing unless you have a super, super engaged audience, and like, it's still really, really hard in that scenario. Buying patterns and all of that have really changed. It is not like 2020 where people just like jumped on shit because this was new and it was like a shiny thing and everyone was just like, oh my God, what is this? And I want in and blah, blah, blah. It's not like that. Plus, there's like so much more online. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just a fact. Therefore, knowing that, you just need to talk about it more. Like, you're going to have longer promotional periods. And it's looking at, okay, so were my expectations too high for what I actually did? Because that can be the case as well. And so when you're looking at like these worst case scenarios and actually going through them, it's like, is it actually going to happen? A, if it does happen, then how are you going to respond? And if you can figure that out, then you can usually move past the thing and actually do the thing that you've been avoiding and start getting the results that you are actually wanting, which is what we want to do. So I want to hear from you. I want you to message me. What have you been avoiding? I hope that this was helpful. And I hope that you are able to look at it in a different way and actually move past it and do at least one thing that you've been avoiding, because I guarantee you this is going to get you results that you are wanting, because we all do this. We all do this trying to keep ourselves safe, but it's really looking at like realistically, is that what you want? Is it actually keeping you safe, or are you just avoiding what you need to do? So that is it. And I'm going to just tell you something that you should check out if you are interested is Impact. This is my hybrid group program. It is a 6-month program where I combine one-on-one and group calls, and we really work through setting up your business for consistent clients, leads, and income, and make things happen. And I'm going to make sure that you are not avoiding this kind of thing so that you can really get the results that you want. This is you define what your idea of success is, and I'm going to help you achieve that. And how you want to use your business and your life to create a bigger impact in the world, because we also set up your business so that you don't have to be working a shit ton more hours in order to achieve more income. So it's all of that. I will link it in the show notes. You can check that out. And I would love to have you. We get started here very, very soon. It's officially starting March 10th. So you can check that out. And I will leave you with, go after everything that you fucking want and be unapologetic about it.